Hi everybody, welcome to Crandall Reviews. Today taking a look at the eagerly anticipated summer blockbuster Suicide Squad, directed by David Ayer. It's the first DCEU movie not directed by Zack Snyder. I was so pumped for this. I love the concept, bad guys forming a squad, becoming heroes, and they had the Joker thrown in there. Jared Leto that have been little bits here and there in the marketing, but it seemed like they were hiding and saving a lot of his stuff for the actual movie. And they really were keeping the villain under wraps and a lot of the plot under wraps. We just knew it was going to be Amanda Waller assembling the Suicide Squad. They were going to somehow have to save the day. So after Batman v Superman, Dawn of Justice, the pressure was really on for David Ayer to make Suicide Squad something that really hit, because a lot of people were disappointed with BVS. Now, I never reviewed BVS. I thought the theatrical cut was good. I saw it a couple times. I really liked parts of it. It had massive problems, though. Now, luckily, the Ultimate Edition on Blu-ray corrected 90% of those horrible editing problems and that really boring Lois Lane story, and a lot of the character motivations were fleshed out in a way that finally they made a little bit of sense. Still, Batman was badass and awesome. Wonder Woman was fantastic. And even though the Doomsday stuff is rushed, I really do like a lot of the action in that last act. So going into this, I was hoping that it could outdo BVS. Certainly the theatrical version, I was hoping we wouldn't have the same kind of problems that that movie had. And Suicide Squad starts off, and for the first act, I was really with it. There were a few directorial choices I didn't like, and a little bit of choppy editing. But as it kept going, I was having fun, but it felt like large chunks were just ripped out of this movie. So again, it's another victim of horribly choppy editing. This is not a case where they've announced a director's cut or another version. David Ayer says this is his version, despite all of the rumors of tinkering and 2 alternate cuts battling it out in test screenings and then coming together to form like one ultimate version. He said that this is his director's cut. He's happy with it. So there isn't the promise of another version down the road like there was before BVS even came out. So that said, parts of this movie were a little bit disappointing, but all the critical buzz before I saw it was really negative, and it's not nearly that bad. This is an entertaining and a fun movie. First and foremost, the thing that makes it really entertaining and really fun is MFN Will Smith is back in blockbuster, one-liner, ass-kicking mode. He's given those prestigious Oscar pictures a break. Tell the truth! Tell the truth! He's given that shit a rest, and he's back to kicking ass. Oh, you one of them deaf hoes, right? So this guy is finally back in the form that we like to see him in. You know, he took a break from big blockbuster movies after Earth tanked, but that thing was joyless. It had no fun. Suicide Squad at least allows Will Smith to be Will Smith. Now, he does bring a lot of depth and some humanity to Deadshot, so it's not just Will Smith. He is a full character in this, but I really like that he's part of an ensemble. You've got this A-list movie star, but it really is an ensemble piece, and everyone in the squad gets at least a couple of moments to shine, even if the story is jumping around so much that parts of it don't make sense. You still get great character moments. So, of course, Margot Robbie as Harley Quinn is another highlight of the film. She's just having a blast. She looks amazing in the part. She's playing around and having fun with it. There are a couple of moments where her accent was a little bit spotty, but I'm willing to forgive it because so much of it was right that the rest of it just falls by the wayside. She was a blast, and hold on to your butts, guys, because my least favorite actor in the world, Charisma Vacuum, Jai Courtney, is really damn good in this movie. His Captain Boomerang is funny. He's a bastard. I really just enjoyed the character immensely. He's in it just enough, I think. They don't give him a lot to do, but I feel like if he had any more to do, it might be stretching it. But he was really charismatic, which was something I didn't expect, because it's Jai Courtney, who is not usually charismatic on screen. So Captain Boomerang was a character that I was dreading, but ended up absolutely loving by the end of the movie. Killer Croc looks awesome. He doesn't have a lot to do, and especially one sequence with him where he's swimming around really feels like one of the ones that was gutted for time. Tax Break, Slipknot, played by Adam Beach, who's basically a character who's only in this movie so that they could get a tax break from shooting in Canada, because he's Canadian. You need a certain amount of Canadian cast with dialogue, and his character definitely fit that bill. So I just call him Tax Break because that's what he was. That's why he was here. I'm going to maybe get into a little bit of spoiler territory now. So if you haven't seen Suicide Squad and you're going to see Suicide Squad, go out and see it. Come back, watch the rest of the video once you have. So if you're still here, hopefully you saw Suicide Squad already. You either loved it, you hated it, where were you? Hit the comments, let me know. Let's get into some spoilers. I love Viola Davis as badass Amanda Waller. She takes no shit, and I think that's great. However, there are so many scenes of her explaining the plot of what the Suicide Squad is going to be, what their mission is, and how they're really bad guys, that I started to roll my eyes a bit at like the fourth one before they've even gone on the mission. And they go on this mission, and what seemed really uninspired to me is as they're fighting their way through Midway City to rescue like this really important person, they keep it a secret that the really important person they're rescuing is Waller, where I think if it was someone else, it was a really good opportunity to bring in another character from the DC universe and have that be the person that the Suicide Squad had to rescue, and have Waller at another location, who then comes to rendezvous with the squad, so that then you can have her get caught by Enchantress. Which, of course, let's talk about Enchantress. Holy shit, is she awful. Cara Delevingne, I have never been that much of a fan of. Paper Towns, her character was just too twee and annoying for me. Here, she's all just character design. I like the Enchantress look, where she is this feral, fidgety, flaming, sparking thing, who looks kind of like Samara from The Ring, put on some nicer clothes. And I think that character design is cool, but having her be the main villain who brings her brother Incubus into this whole thing, who just looks like the robot thing from the end of Thor 1 with a little bit of a nicer face, didn't really hold the weight and power, because for much of it, she is just, once she gets her brother's power to sustain her instead of her heart, and she puts on that new outfit, and she's just so like jiggling. She just, to me, looked like a background dancer from Michael Jackson's Remember the Time video, who got covered in a little bit of dirt and wandered into a reenactment of the Gozer scene from Ghostbusters and just went with it. So it was really weird that in a movie that had amazing marketing as being, you know, something new, something fresh, we got bad guys as heroes, that they'd have such a shitty villain with just this big building a machine and all this shit swirling around the city, which is something that Ghostbusters reboot did this year, and TMNT Out of the Shadows, that's basically the big bad thing at the end too, is the Technodrome is coming through this portal and it's going to kill everyone. And for a movie that was really sold on the originality and the fun of it, they really got a cookie cutter finale here brewing with this horrible villain and this plan that we couldn't give a shit about. So I found that to be really jarring, and also the fact that the Suicide Squad's main obstacles in the movie are these hordes of shit monsters that they have to fight, who, one, didn't look that hard to beat. Yeah, you've got these super powered bad guys fighting them, but I feel like Rick Flag and those guys could have done a good job even if Deadshot and Harley Quinn and Katana weren't there. I found it interesting that this was one of the first DCEU movies that has more of a jukebox soundtrack than it does a score. There is a couple of moments of decent score, but it's certainly not a BVS where the score was so badass that it just took over the whole movie. This thing has a lot of pop music cues, and I don't mean like pop like Britney Spears, I just mean like popular, like super obvious choices like House of the Rising Sun and the Rolling Stones, Eminem's Without Me. The only pop cue The only music cue that really worked for me is when Deadshot is having his moment auditioning for the team, and they hand him the gun and he realizes it's loaded and he's like, oh shit. And then the Kanye West kicks in, and that moment was made better by the inclusion of Kanye because it was perfect for that moment. And I just love in this movie that Will Smith has great one-liners and kicks a lot of ass. I got a little bit frustrated when his character doesn't kill women, and that's fine. But when he's given that moment to shoot Harley, it literally rang a little bit false for me that he wouldn't do it because Amanda Waller was offering him everything he literally wanted. His freedom to see his daughter. So who the fuck was Harley Quinn to stand in the way of him doing that? That was a moment that they're trying to flesh his character out, but I actually felt like it was a bit more of a betrayal because if these characters are supposed to be as bad as they are, he would have just done it. I haven't talked about the Joker yet, and that's because I'm not a huge fan of Jared Leto's Joker. After all of the press about him just being so method as fuck on set that people couldn't even talk to him, what a disappointing performance. He is basically the Joker as played by In Living Color's Jim Carrey. There's a few moments where he's so just Jim Carrey in a sketch kind of crazy that it was distracting to me. I also didn't appreciate that his big plan to rescue Harley is foiled so easily. Like, the Joker in this is a bit of a dumbass. He can't even rescue Harley Quinn. Anybody, I can't believe they shot down like 3 helicopters in this movie. So why anybody would take a helicopter as transportation is kind of beyond me. I did like Jay Hernandez as El Diablo. Really cool, great character design on the facial tattoos. He's got an interesting backstory that I really dug. Joel Kinnaman is fine as Rick Flag. He is better than he has been in some other stuff. He is never as awesome as Holder from The Killing. Ike Barinholtz as one of the guards is great. He's hilarious. I really like him. Him and Jim Parak look so much alike. They could be brothers. I can't believe that they cast them as 2 different roles and they have a scene together, and it's kind of jarring because they look like brothers. And of course, they're not related in the movie at all. David Harbour, who's now rising higher to fame because of Stranger Things, great character actor. He gets a few moments here. And Kevin Hanchard from Orphan Black is in it because, again, shot in Toronto. Back to Jai Courtney for a sec. What I really love about Captain Boomerang, besides the fact that he's got these quirks, like the pink unicorns, he's got a great scene where he gets captured by the Flash. I thought that was awesome. I love that he's just opening beers any chance he gets. But he is actually one of the guys who's pretty much a villain because he very rarely does anything that's selfless. He sort of just goes along for the ride because he's got nothing better to do. But when he tells Tax Break or Adam Beach that he doesn't believe that the thing in their neck is real, and he gets him to be the guinea pig to try it out, and he gets his head blown off, that was one of my favorite parts, because that is what these people should be doing. They're bastards. They're sons of bitches. I want to see them being bastards and sons of bitches. So I ragged on the movie a lot, but I did enjoy a lot of it. It's just so much fun when the team is together and firing on all cylinders. There's some good action scenes when they are fighting one of the hordes and Will Smith is just gunning down every motherfucker that comes his way. I enjoyed when Batman showed up for his couple small cameos in the flashbacks. That really worked. And the end credit scene where Waller hands over the files so that Batman knows who he can go after for Justice League. I thought that was effective. I really do like the moments of levity. The ridiculous Harley Quinn jumps into the elevator. That was a moment that was like, what? But it worked. It was fun. It was funny. I don't understand why, and maybe there's scenes cut out that explain this, where they go on the mission. They were lied to that they were going to rescue Waller. They find out afterwards. Will Smith reads the binder, and he's like, you guys are the ones who caused this evil. It's not terrorists. It's you guys who did this. And Joel Kinnaman's like, I'm sorry. And everybody abandons him. And he's all sad and upset that, like, this is their fault. I didn't quite understand why that mattered to the squad, because the squad is being blackmailed into doing these jobs anyway. Who cares where the threat came from? Like, if they had just been straight with him and been like, guess what, guys? We fucked up. Magic bitch is on the loose. We need you guys to save it because we fucked up. I honestly don't see how that would change the course of events. That being said, the bar scene that results as everybody being pissed off at Joel Kinnaman and sort of abandoning their posts is one of the best scenes of the movie. Jay Hernandez gets that great moment during it. Everybody just hanging out. You see the camaraderie. We get a little bit of seriousness before they go into that CG overload finale. I do like a lot of the action here. It's just that the big finale is so dull to me. It's just monotonous. It's loud noises and stuff moving around. And I never really cared that moment where everybody gets to see their perfect happiness. But Harley Quinn wanting to have a family with Jared Leto, not the Joker though, none of them have makeup on. They're just a normal, happy family, was kind of a betrayal, I thought, because she is insane. She wants them to be a family, but a family of insane freaks. I was really hoping that they were going to pan over and the baby in the high chair would have been in full Joker regalia, and that would have been awesome. So that seemed like a little bit of a missed opportunity / what? As I've said, I keep sounding really negative, and there is just a lot of stuff that didn't work, but if I'm balancing the scales, the stuff that worked better for me and was more prevalent, so I do like this movie a lot. I think it's a lot of fun. I love the cast. I hope that they get to do a Suicide Squad 2. I think maybe we get somebody other than David Ayer. Ayer is a guy who's really mixed for me. Training Day he wrote, and really solid script, but Training Day is mostly great because of the work of Fuqua and Denzel. All right? Then Ayer does Street Kings. Fucking piece of garbage. Just a bullshit movie. Keanu completely wasted. Super disappointed when it came out and I saw it. He struggles for a bit. End of Watch is an amazing movie. Fantastic. That's the best he's ever been. Then he does Sabotage, which is another one of those like, what went wrong here? This is just awful. And Fury was fine. It was okay, but it wasn't great. Yes, Warner was over his shoulder and the BVS pressure really got to the creative process with them editing and doing all sorts of stuff. But I feel like some part of it was just a disconnect, that they spent too much time focusing on a storyline that nobody cared about and that wasn't thought out enough. That then when they were running bloated, they had to cut a lot of that out, and it just makes a lot of stuff feel disjointed. The character moments are fun. The action, except for that finale, is fine, and it's enjoyable, but there's just that spark that's missing that would make it an absolute classic. So that's Suicide Squad. Hit the comments. Let me know what you thought. If you loved it, if you hated it, if you were meh. Are you really looking forward to more DC movies? I know I'm super pumped for Wonder Woman. Looks amazing, and I think that's the one that's finally going to really hit and be that hopefully near perfect DC movie that gets everybody really excited leading into Snyder's Justice League that I really have faith in, because that extended trailer that they let out looks awesome. So thanks a lot for watching, and don't forget to hit subscribe.
Gotta get me BET. Give me BET.